guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be doing a massive August book haul. So I know I recently did a giant unhaul. I will link that video up in the cards if you want to check it out. If you're new to my channel, I go thrifting and hunting for books, so I get them anywhere between 25 cents to $3 to $5, usually in the $1 to $2 range, so I haul and unhaul a lot around here. I do trades with friends, all kinds of things. So I really like to do themed book hauls, especially for readathons. So I have a bunch of themed book hauls. Again, I'll link down below. Mermaids, space books, retellings, all that jazz. But these are all the books that kind of don't fit in any of those categories. And I've been collecting them for several months now. Probably since like March of this year that I've done a regular book haul. I haven't read almost any of these, so I won't have a ton of descriptions for you, but we're just gonna dive right in. Okay, so we have War Maidens by Kelly Kuhn. This is the second in a duology. I have the first one. It's Grave Maidens. I have it saved for spooky season. I don't remember much about it, but it does look cool, and I know a couple other friends that have been wanting to read it. The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X. Arpan. I've heard amazing things about this one. I know this one's going to be kind of hard-hitting, has to do with grief. Our main character loses her mother, and then she believes that her soul is in a bird, and she tries to find the bird, or the bird comes to her. But I've heard it's kind of got a magical surrealism vibe, so I'm hoping that this one will work for me. Sometimes those types of books work for me. We're gonna try it because I've heard absolutely amazing things. Couple of random ones. So we have The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. I believe this is an adult novel. This is from an ordinary town transformed by a mysterious illness that triggers perpetual sleep. One night in an isolated college town in the hills of Southern California, a first-year student stumbles into her dorm room, falls asleep, and she doesn't wake up. She sleeps through the morning into the evening, and her roommate cannot rouse her. Neither can the paramedics or the perplexed doctors at the hospital. When a second girl falls asleep, and then a third, May, her roommate, finds herself thrust together with an eccentric classmate as panic takes hold of the college and spreads to the town. So this just sounds like super unique and kind of strange, and probably a little sci-fi. The Incredible Magic of Being. So first of all, this cover is phenomenal. That's the main reason I grabbed it. So some might say Julian is sheltered, but he lives large, and his eternal optimism allows him to see infinite possibilities wherever he looks. Despite his optimism, he is anxious about many things: nightmares, drowning, death, his stressed family falling apart. If he can make his family focus on magic in the universe, surely they will appreciate life again. So it just sounds really unique and fun, and I really just wanted to check it out. We have The Traitor's Kiss by Erin Beatty. I think this is the first one in the series. I have the second one already. Just a fantasy series that I've heard pretty good things about. I don't know anything about it. I kind of like to go in blind to most of my books, but I have heard good things. Fever by Lauren DeStefano. So I read this book when I had a fever and when I was sick, probably 6 years ago. I was so sick that I was staying in the bathroom because things were happening, and I was literally just on the bathroom floor reading. I don't know where I got the motivation. Now if I'm sick, I'm like, I do not want to read. But I literally would just stay in the bathroom and read the book. And I have kind of a sentimental attachment to it because of that. It's a very weird trilogy. It's called the Chemical Garden Trilogy. It's old school YA. It has to do with surrogates, and they come to live in the rich people's houses. It's got a dystopian vibe. The writing style is good, but it's kind of slow and not a lot happens. But I just kind of wanted to pick it up again because I have these memories, and it's kind of solidified itself in my brain because of my reading experience. Umbertushed by Olivia Blackburn. This is part of the Rosemark trilogy. Again, another fantasy series I don't know much about, except for the covers are amazing, and I found it for $1. Dream a Little Dream by Kirsten Gear. I've unhauled this one and hauled it several times. For a while I thought it was a Alice in Wonderland retelling, but now I don't think that it is. It's like a strange magical little book. Mysterious doors with lizard head knobs, talking stone statues, a crazy girl with a hatchet. Yes, Liv's dreams have been pretty weird lately. So we've got kind of an Alice in Wonderland vibe, and this is part of a trilogy. The Winner's Curse by Maria Rutowski. This is a young adult fantasy trilogy as well. I've always loved these covers. I read this several years ago, and I wound up unhauling them, and I kind of regretted it. This is one of the only fantasy series I've ever read that doesn't have magic. It's just an actual fantasy series, and the romance in here is really good. Our main character buys a slave at an auction and has her come live with him, and then she kind of discovers truth about her family and her society and things. It's got kind of a medieval type setting about it, and I just remember really liking the writing style and enjoying it. So I'm hauling it again. Nemesis by Anna Banks. Look at this amazing cover. So Anna Banks wrote the Of Poseidon trilogy, which is one of my favorite mermaid trilogies. So Princess Sephora of Ceruble is the last forager in the Five Kingdoms. The spectorium she creates provides energy for all. But now her father's found a way to weaponize it, and his intentions to incite war force her to flee his grasp. Again, another fantasy trilogy or duology, but I wanted to check out more from Anna. Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer is currently my favorite author. The Luna Chronicles and the Renegade trilogy are some of my all-time favorite books. I did enjoy Gilded and Cursed as well, and I absolutely loved Heartless, her Alice in Wonderland retelling. This is her only contemporary novel, and while I didn't love this, it was probably like a 3.5 star. Our main character is very annoying. I still liked the writing style, and I still kind of want to have all of Marissa's books. So our main character is very judgmental of her coastal town, and she wakes up one day with the ability to cast judgment upon them, and like her thoughts are coming true. So if she sees someone like cut somebody off in line, she'll be like, I wish they would trip, and they will trip. And so she's supposed to be like judgmental and annoying for that reason, and she kind of also learns a lesson about that. So it's kind of cute. The romance is kind of fun, but you do kind of have to get over that annoying main character, and it's a little bit long for a contemporary, but I just love Marissa Meyer. Stone Cold Touch by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I read Wicked from Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I really did not like it, like really at all. It's like a fae new adult series. It was a lot smuttier than I wanted. Like there weren't actually a lot of like sex scenes, but the characters were just constantly wanting to have sex, and I just felt like they were kind of brain dead, so I didn't really love that series. We're gonna try this one. It's young adult, I believe. I wanna try this one, and I wanna try Lux before I decide that she's not the author for me. I've heard that I like her young adult books more, so we're gonna check it out. Valiant by Leslie Livingston. I've been looking for this one for a while because I have the other two in the trilogy. I know it just has Gladiator vibes. That's really all I know. I don't think it's a retelling, but we've got those kind of vibes. I haven't read anything like that really, and I've heard pretty good things. We have The Shattered City by Lisa Maxwell. Look at this humongous book. So this is part of The Last Magician. I think it's a trilogy. I've heard amazing things. I don't really know anything about The Last Magician. I know it's a fantasy series. I believe it's young adult, but I've heard such good things, so I thought I'd grab this one. All right, so I got Entice, Emblaze, and Endless. I already have Embrace, which this is part of a Angel young adult quartet, and I've had several people tell me that they absolutely love it. I was super excited to find these next three. I think I got them all for like $1. One by One by Ruth Ware. I got this one actually in January because I was going to read it for like a wintry TBR. It's a wintry adult thriller or mystery. I haven't read it yet. I've heard good things. I'm kind of picky with my murder mystery thrillers. Like I want them to be very specific, but I've heard really good things about Ruth Ware, so I want to check her out, and I'll probably do it sometime this winter. Rehauling Divergent by Veronica Roth. I unhauled these a while ago. I don't really remember why, because this is just one that we need to all have. I really enjoyed it actually, and I didn't mind the ending of the overall series like some other people did. And I kind of want to reread it, to be honest, so rehauling these again. And if you don't know, this is a young adult dystopian trilogy. We are in different factions, and they have this competition where the factions have to come together and do training, and then there's a romance in here that's really fun, and it's just really good. Passion by Lauren Kate. Another one that I'm just rehauling. This is an Angel series. It doesn't have like dark spooky vibes like it looks. It's more of like an Angel series. It goes really interesting places. I've kind of wanted to reread it via audio because I physically read it the first time. I just really enjoyed it overall. It was just a really interesting and different ride. It has a decent romance. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I'm really nervous about this one. It's a contemporary kind of about two boys. We're in a world where they have these death cast calls, and they let you know what day you're going to die, and there are these two boys that find out that they're going to die in 24 hours, and they kind of meet up to discuss. I think it's going to be kind of hard-hitting and intense. Sometimes these work for me depending on how they are done. I know this one made a lot of people cry. I'm not too excited about, but I've always kind of wanted to try it. So we'll see how it goes. Anti-Goddess by Kendar Blake. So this again is part of another Angel series. I have the other books in the trilogy. This cover doesn't match, which is kind of annoying. I like Kendare Blake's Three Dark Crowns series a lot, so I think it also has to do with like Greek mythology. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna check it out. Control by Lydia Kang. So this is a romantic thriller set in the future and it has a lot to do with like technology and genetics and probably a dystopian vibe somewhere in there. Master of Iron by Trish Levenseller. This is part of her Blade of Secrets duology. I have read all of Trish Levenseller now except for this one and her newest Pirate Queen book that came out. I just love Trisha Levenseller's writing style. It is so fun. Her romances are really, really fun and cute and adventurous. This is a fantasy duology. I don't know much about it, but I'm willing to try anything she writes. We have Ichabod by J.K. Rowling. I've just never read this one, and I know this is a cute middle grade. I don't really know anything about it. I know there's some cute art in here, but thought I'd check it out. Crescent City 2. Okay, I had a whole saga with this because I wanted to get a copy of Fourth Wing and I got in right before they stopped the first round of selling, and Target had a buy one get one half off, and this book was only $14 at the time, so I got it for like $7 and I didn't have it, and I was like, well, if I don't like it I can always sell it. I really didn't like most of Crescent City, but I did like the end and I liked the overall world, so I'm gonna reread it sometime soon, read this one, prepare for the next one, and decide if I'm going to unhaul them or not. I'm worried this one's going to be too smutty. It definitely feels like it's going to be too long, so we'll see. I found The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare. This one I paid a little bit more for. I think I paid like $7 because it was one of the only ones that I'm missing from Cassandra Clare's books. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm not a diehard fan, but I'm already on it, so we're just going to keep riding the train. Chain of Gold is the next set of books I need to read. This is a part of The Eldest Curses, which is book 2. I believe I have the first one. So all of the series kind of intermingle and combine. You should really read them in order because of that, otherwise you get really confused. But this is an adult series that goes with all the other ones. The Shadowhunters is really just one big giant series, to be honest. Then my friend JJ sent me some books. Some I paid for, some she just sent for me. So she got me Ghosts from the Shadow Market, speaking of Cassandra Clare. So this is a short story collection set in the Shadowhunter world after certain events. The short story collections are a big part of this series and they're kind of important, so I do recommend checking them out and going in the right order. I don't have a video on this. I can make one if you want me to. Her last short story collection was my favorite book that she's written so far, surprisingly, and it was what kept me reading in the Shadowhunter world. So glad to have this one. For my birthday, she sent me This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. Shatter Me from Tahara Mafi is one of my all-time favorite series, all-time favorite romances. It's dystopian. It's got some other fun elements in there as well. The romance is so fun. It's a tiny bit spicy, like the perfect amount for me. So I wanted to check out this one. I honestly don't know anything about it except for that it is a new fantasy duology. She also sent me The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes because she read this recently and really, really enjoyed it. I know this is a contemporary. I know there's some kind of game to do with an inheritance, obviously. I really like books that involve games, and I recently found Hawthorne Legacy, which is the second one. Now I have both of them, and I know this is a lot of people's like favorite trilogy, so need to check it out. Okay, so I got The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I got this one because I absolutely loved Everything Everything, which is her other contemporary novel, and it had a little twist in there that I didn't expect, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know anything really about this one, but I'm willing to check it out because I liked that other one so much, and I'm so picky with my contemporary. I got The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams Chima. Slowly rehauling these again. I unhauled a lot of them several years ago because I had so many fantasy series to get to, but now that I'm getting a little more caught up, it might be time for me to check her out next year. So again, sorry I don't know much about it, except that people love it. Trade by Kira Cass. Second in the Betrothed series. Now, I really did not like The Betrothed. It was wild. The Selection series is one of my favorite series ever, and I did enjoy The Siren as well, so I was so excited for Betrothed, and then I was reading it and I was like, what the heck is going on? However, it was a very fun read, even though it was like weird, and I want to read this one because I honestly didn't understand what The Betrothed was actually about, and I kind of need to read this one to find out. So if anybody wants to buddy read this duology with me and have a wild good time, let's do it. I gotta know, that first book, really crazy and off the rails. Hollow Earth by John Barrowman and Carol E. Barrowman. This is about two twins with magical powers, and that's really all I know. It's a cute little middle grade series. The cover's beautiful, and I wanted to check it out. And then lastly, we have Crystal Blade by Catherine Purdue. This is part of the Burning Glass trilogy. Again, it's just another cool looking fantasy trilogy Barbie that I found for $1. I'll report back once I have read. Okay, you guys, so those are all of the books that I have been hauling over the past few months that don't fit in any of the other haul categories. Be sure and check out those other videos if you haven't already. I'll have a couple more hauls coming out before the end of the year and maybe one more giant unhaul. We'll see. Let me know if you've hauled anything fun recently. Let me know if you've read any of these, if I should push them up on my TBR. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at TheBrightSideGirl and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for lots of fun videos coming your way, and I'll see you guys next time on The Bright Side.